Hey coin collectors, and welcome to DC Coin World International Coin Channel. And today we're going to take a look at the 1943 United States quarters. We have three of them here. We have the Philadelphia, the Denver, and the San Francisco. We're going to talk about the special kind of quarters that they have from 1943. This is a 1943. We see it says Liberty at the top, In God We Trust here, 1943. We tip it way, way up and we see there's a J and an F there for John Flanagan. Put it on its edge and we see that it's a silver. Of course, in 1943, the quarters were still silver coins. And then we see that it says United States of America at the top, E pluribus unum here, $quarter. And the mint mark would be right there. So we know this one is from Philly. And we know this one's in really good condition. If we look at the feathers on here, we see pretty good feathers. Not much feathers up on the wings, but I'd say close to an MS65. But at an MS65, this would be worth somewhere between $60 and $100. We see we have a chopped leaf right there, so that may or may not affect the value. See how the leaf didn't quite go on there? And this was run-of-the-mill for 1943. The quarters got kind of short shrift. They were just trying to get them out. And they didn't really put a lot of care in them. But this one, with the shine on it and everything, is pretty nice. But it turns out that it's not the shiny looking 1943 quarters we're looking for. It's any quarter that has what they call the double die obverse. The double die obverse, you can see it in God We Trust. We can see it a little bit in the date. And we can see it in the LI of Liberty. And if we push these way up, we can see that there's a little bit of extra material here on the edge of the L, but this is not the double die obverse. We'd see a lot more extra material than that, and no extra material here. So this coin, while it's valuable, doesn't come anywhere near the double die obverse value. The PCGS says if you can get a double die, in other words, a doubling of the letters, or doubling of the date, from 1943, even in an MS12, in other words, in a mint state 12, a really, really, really worn coin. In fact, look on the PCGS website for the 1943 double die obverse, and you'll see a coin that is worse than this, way worse than this, that's valued in the hundreds of dollars. Unfortunately, this one, as you saw when you just tipped it over, is not going to be the double die obverse because it's a Denver mint coin. At the Philadelphia mint, from this one, they made 99.7 million. So almost 100 million. And so this coin, as I said, probably worth 40 or more dollars. But the Denver Mint coin, they only made, for D, they only made 16 million. If you can get this up into an MS65 though, just $40. It's not a hugely valuable coin. And finally, of course, they made them at the San Francisco Mint. And at the San Francisco Mint, you can see some nice colors on here, but a little worn. The San Francisco Mint in 1943, they made 21.7 million. The San Francisco Mint has a double die obverse too, though. So let's look for that. And you look down here and you can see, often you can see a different tail on the T's. In other words, you come down and there's a little bit broken on the bottom on the T's. We don't see any of that. We don't see any extra there. And we do see this little tail here, but nothing extra even up there. So there is a double die for the San Francisco Mint. If you get that, that's worth big bucks. But if you get this one here, it's worth probably $5 to $7 because it's a silver value alone. And finally, there's something they call the Trumpet Tail S. And at the bottom, it has this kind of funny little tail on it. But this is not that coin either. We're also going to talk about the other coins from 1943, because 1943 was a strange year in coins. The only one that was as it was advertised really was the half dollar from 1943. So this is the Standing Liberty half dollar, the sun here, Liberty around the top, In God We Trust, 1943. We turn it over and we see that there's no mint mark here. There is the AAW for Adolph Weisman. United States of America at the top here. So this is a half dollar. It's silver, and it's exactly as advertised. Some other things that weren't as advertised, though, is another silver coin. Yes, I know it's a nickel, but this is a silver 1943 U.S. nickel. It's a Jefferson nickel. God we trust in front of him, liberty behind him. Nice star there. 1943. Has some lines across it. I'm hoping it wasn't washed, but even if it was, it's still a silver nickel because we see the big P for Philadelphia above Monticello. They made 3 years worth of silver nickels during the war, and this is one of them. So always look for these. And so 1943 had a silver nickel. 1943 also had a copper penny. Well, you say, of course it had a copper penny. Well, this isn't one of them. This is a steel penny because in 1943 the United States Mint moved to making steel pennies so they could save copper for the war effort, but they made at least a couple copper pennies. And so if you can find the copper pennies, it's probably worth in the tens of thousands, if not more, maybe the hundreds of thousands. So they made a copper penny, which was not the norm, because steel pennies were the norm in 1943, and of course that's a San Francisco one. They did make the dime in 1943. It's the Liberty dime. Roosevelt dime didn't come until 1946. So in 1943, Roosevelt, of course, was still alive. They were making the Liberty dime. And this is the back of one. And there's the S for the San Francisco Mint on this one, too. San Francisco Mint in 1943 was a regular mint, produced circulating coins. If they had had proof coins in 1943, they would have been made at Philadelphia, but they didn't have proof coins in 1943. They did in 42, though, but in 1943 they didn't, which makes this one look very odd then, doesn't it? So, if you're looking for these coins, this coin here is probably worth, $10, $8 to $10 for the S version. The Denver version's worth 5 to 7. This version here might be worth as much as 40 because it's getting close to an MS65. But what you really want to look for is those double die obverse coins from the 1943 quarters. All right, have a great day from DC Coin World International Coin Channel.